each of you have 8 minutes, you know that, okay? And I'm pretty strict with time when you're not a president or a state secretary. So I would also like to mention that I thank the state secretary for introducing most of my colleagues here, except I think we missed Atakilt. We did, okay. No problem. No one. I like human politicians. That's good. Atakilt Biene is at the Nordic Africa Institute, and he is a long-time researcher in the fields that I know of rural organization, land use, land tenure, just about everything you can think of that has to do with the rural society. So welcome, Atakilt. And we will begin our presentations now with Ola Möller from Sida, who is speaking from the heart, so I don't have a title for you.
Okay. Let me just start my clock here, as we've been given strict.
Yes, I'm starting mine too.
Right. Thank you for inviting me to this seminar and to be part of this panel. I'm most honored. And Your Excellency, dear friends and colleagues, let me start by saying a few words about climate-smart agriculture. Climate change adaptation has, for a number of years, been top priority at Sida. In the field of agriculture, this means that all support that we are giving to the sector of agriculture has to take into consideration how it can contribute to counter the effects of the changing climate. As we have many program officers not trained in agriculture and rural development managing our support, we also internally has developed a few internal policy documents to help in our work of assessing and managing the support that we are giving to agriculture development. When it comes to resilience, Sida supports a large number of activities to strengthen the ability and the capacity to manage risks and strengthen resilience against crises, catastrophes, and disasters. Interaction between humanitarian assistance and long-term development cooperation and working with a sector-integrated approach is important, especially important in crisis contexts with considerable humanitarian assistance. This we see, for instance, in Afghanistan, Somalia, Mali, Burkina Faso, Sudan, Myanmar, the Ukraine, and so on. But it's also important in high-risk contexts with significant development or limited or no humanitarian aid, like, for instance, in Bangladesh. Over the last 10-15 years, the work and the support to development that Sida has provided has increasingly been focusing on partner countries and regions characterized as conflict or post-conflict countries. I would like to give you a few typical examples of how Sida operates to strengthen people's and communities' resilience. In Somalia, one of Sida's main supported programs is called the Somalia Resilience Software Consortium. This program mainly focuses on resilience at village level, but also engage local administrations with capacity development. The program builds resilience through strengthening the households, improved production opportunities with farmers. It also works with risk awareness and risk diversification. Through this, the program was able to strongly contribute to counter the negative effects of El Niño in 2016 and 2015. In Kenya, another example, Sida, in collaboration with the World Food Programme, works within the sector of governance, strengthening the capacity of local governments to take over the management of emerging crises and disasters. The aim of this program is that the activities and operations of humanitarian actors gradually are institutionalized in provincial governments. In Kenya's decentralized government system, several functions such as disaster risk reduction, climate change, and agriculture has been handed over to the many provincial governments. The aim is thereby to strengthen the systems and the competency at the level where the responsibility rests and where the capacity is still very low. Remaining in Africa, I would also like to mention our work in supporting the establishment of social protection systems. As I'm sure you all remember, this was the topic of FAO's 2015 State of Food and Agriculture report. The social protection programs are often designed as cash transfer or cash grant programs, and the support is given to population groups which, because of its deep poverty, are considered particularly vulnerable and have very small or non-existent margins in their economy if they are subjected to shocks such as crop failures, floods, or other changes that affect their ability to engage in agriculture. By assisting these groups in slowly developing the resilience and abilities to have more secure incomes, this is, in my opinion, one of the most important tools we have to achieve Agenda 2030 slogan, "Leave no one behind." If we are to achieve any lasting effects on improved resilience, poverty reduction and development, we must also work much more with gender. We must contribute to that women are given better opportunities to be part of the development. As Dr. Hongbo said in his keynote presentation, the World Bank has stated that we can lift 100 to 150 million people out of poverty if women are given the same and equal rights to access resources as men are today. Looking at examples on how to build resilience through more long-term cooperation, in Asia, resilience is one of the targets for our regional support to small-scale private sector development. A large part of this support aims at strengthening the resilience and income opportunities for small-scale agriculture and food producers in Southeast Asia through more responsible and inclusive value chains and investments, and where women exercise economic leadership. This leads me to my last example. Sida's largest program support within the sector of research goes to agriculture research through our support to the IAR institutes. This reflects the importance Sida puts on agriculture as the key for the future to achieve sustainable development generally and achieving the targets of Agenda 2030 in particular. I would like to end my presentation with a short reflection. When looking at all the different development trends, different initiatives, different activities implemented, no matter how they are classified or what Agenda 2030 target it aims for, when you scratch the surface a bit, you usually find that in an overwhelming number of cases, as my examples also have shown, in one way or another, it all comes down to working for and with the poor people living in rural areas and living primarily on agriculture. Of course, I'm generalizing, but given my position in Sida, I'm allowed a bit of a bias, I think. I think that the challenge to us working with agriculture and rural development is to develop our thinking, methods, knowledge, and arguments to show how important and relevant it is to work with this old topic of rural development and agriculture, not only to achieve resilience and food security, but also to achieve a lot of other important goals directly or indirectly related to sustainable rural livelihoods. With this, I mean that we must better show how our sector is instrumental and interacts with other sectors, for example, health, education, gender equality, economic development, and many other aspects of poverty reduction and development. We must work much more with others in a more integrated way. Thank you.